What would you do if life knocked you down again and again? Would you give up after the first failure? The 10th? The 50th? This is the true story of a man who failed not once, not twice, but 50 times before success finally knocked at his door. A story that proves persistence isn't just a word, it's a way of life. You're watching Soulfeel Stories, where we bring you real stories that awaken courage, hope, and heart. If you're ready for something real, something raw, and something that will stay with you, stay with us. Meet James. Born into a modest family in a small town in the Midwest of the United States, James had dreams bigger than his world could contain. His father was a factory worker. His mother worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. There were no handouts, no shortcuts, and certainly no guarantees. From a young age, James loved building things, little machines made from scraps, tiny inventions no one paid attention to. But he did. He believed in what he made, even when others laughed. At school, he struggled, not because he wasn't smart, but because his mind was elsewhere, filled with ideas and visions no one else could see. Teachers called him distracted. Friends called him weird. But James was something else, relentlessly hopeful. After high school, he decided to chase his passion. He wanted to be an inventor, an entrepreneur, someone who could bring change. Everyone around him told him to play it safe, get a job, pay the bills. But James wasn't built that way. He had a fire inside that no failure could put out. At 19, James launched his first product, a tool designed to help seniors open jars more easily. He poured all his savings into the prototype, stayed up nights perfecting it. But when he finally presented it to stores, the answer was always the same: no. The first rejection stung, but he smiled through it. Then came the second, the third, the fourth. Soon, he had knocked on over 100 doors, and each one closed in his face. He went back to the drawing board, designed another product, a smart pen that could transcribe handwritten notes into digital text. Ahead of his time? Maybe, but again, failure. Investors weren't interested. One even told him, "You're not cut out for this." But James wasn't just chasing money, he was chasing purpose. Every time he failed, he learned, and every time he learned, he tried again. At failure number 15, James was homeless, sleeping in his old car, showering at gyms, using free Wi-Fi at cafes to send pitch emails. He ate 1 meal a day and used what little money he had to keep prototyping. He wasn't chasing luck. He was building resilience. On his 25th attempt, James created a small household gadget, simple, cheap, and effective. He managed to get it listed on a local online marketplace. It sold 5 units. No headlines, no overnight success. But it was enough. It gave him hope. He reinvested everything and improved the product. More sales came in, 20, then 50, then 100. But then a shipping error wiped out his stock, and he went into debt. The 30th failure. Just get a normal job, James. But James looked them in the eye and said, "Quitting won't build the life I dream of." He took side jobs to repay the debt, waiting tables, walking dogs, anything to earn enough to try again. On his 40th attempt, he created a small learning device for kids with learning difficulties. He tested it in a local school. The kids loved it. But then came rejection number 41, then 42, then 43. Most people would have stopped. And then, on his 51st attempt, a break. A small educational company agreed to license his product. They didn't offer millions, but they offered something better: belief. That product, simple, intuitive, and built out of failure, went on to help thousands of children. It won small awards, but more importantly, it created big change. The media picked it up. the man who failed 50 times and changed lives. Everyone wanted to talk to James. The man who was once laughed at now gave TED Talks. The guy who was told he wasn't cut out for this became a mentor for young innovators. He started his own company, not to get rich, but to empower those who felt invisible. The misfits, the dreamers, the ones who had fallen down too many times. He hired people who had been rejected, just like he had. People who believed that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. Today, James has several patents, a thriving business, and most importantly, a story that proves something powerful. Sometimes success doesn't come early, but when it does, it makes every failure worth it. Why does this story matter? Because we live in a world obsessed with quick wins and instant results. But real success? It's messy, it's hard, it's slow. James's story reminds us that it's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you rise, about how deeply you believe in your vision, even when no one else does. You see, behind every successful person, there's a silent chapter of failures, tears, doubts, and nights spent wondering, is this even worth it? For James, it was. For you, it can be. Whether you're chasing a dream, rebuilding your life, or starting over from zero, remember this. A number of times you fail doesn't define you. What defines you is the decision to keep going. This was a true story of failure, faith, and ultimate triumph. This was the journey of James, the man who failed 50 times before success knocked. If his story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of your own path, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Soulfeel Stories, because every story we tell is a reminder that the human spirit is stronger than we think. And maybe your story is next.